Star Wars is one of the most beloved franchises in the world. Created in 1977 by George Lucas, the franchise has produced over 10 films and almost 10 shows. While they're most known for their films and television shows, Star Wars was turned into a comic book series the same year the first film was released in 1977. There have been over 100 scripts released since then. Join us as we discuss the essentials. The first issue we'll talk about is Allegiance by Timothy Zahn. Following a group of 5 Imperial stormtroopers, Allegiance is a Star Wars Legends issue that was released in 2007. The 5 stormtroopers stray from the Galactic Embark in an attempt to successfully engage in a stint of vigilantism, where they meet some beloved characters in the Star Wars franchise. The comic book was one of the first to be released that features stormtroopers as protagonists. These comics are responsible for introducing the origins behind Mara Jade. Seen for the first time in 1991 with Zahn's comic Heir to the Empire, Mara Jade was known for being Palpatine's right hand. The issue is one that doesn't have just one subject, but instead 3. The issue focuses on not only 3 different people, but 3 groups, each with allegiance issues. The next issue we'll talk about is Lost Stars by Claudia Gray. First released in the year 2015, Lost Stars is a young adult canon that focuses on 2 childhood friends who unfortunately end up on opposite sides of the ongoing fight between the Galactic Empire and Rebel Alliance. Sienna Ree ends up fighting the fight of the Rebel Alliance, while Thane Kyrell stands on the other side of the battlefield next to the Galactic Empire. The comic details the struggle that Ree and Kyrell go through as juggling their loyalty to each other and to their fighting sides gets more and more difficult. The 2 enroll at the Imperial Academy together, and though they do not end up on the same side, they make an attempt to keep their friendship alive. There are ups and downs through their times of fighting, and many fans took interest in the book and the suspense regarding the survival of their friendship. Now, let's talk about a more recent issue, Brotherhood, Mike Chen. One of the newer Star Wars comics, Brotherhood was released earlier this year on May 10th of 2022. This issue focuses on Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker during the Clone Wars era. In a time of great chaos, Anakin Skywalker is awarded the title of Jedi Knight. The bright burning fire between the two only continues to rise. Anakin finds himself in dangerous water with the man he was once a Padawan to. The two quickly realize that they'd better find a way to work in unity and fast. The planet of Cato Nemoidia is in trouble as well as its people. If the two cannot learn to work together, the people of Cato Nemoidia may fall victim to the deadly war. Brotherhood is written by Mike Chen, and it is his first canon Star Wars canon book. Moving on, let's discuss a little about Master and Apprentice by Claudine Gray. 4 years after the release of Lost Stars, Claudine Gray released Master and Apprentice in 2019. The book focuses on Jedi Master Qui-Gon Jinn and his Padawan Obi-Wan Kenobi, and takes place 8 years before the events that took place in The Phantom Menace. After the two, Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan are tasked with navigating a dangerous planet. An offer is brought into life that dampens the strong bond between the two. The book showcases a problem that many Padawan find themselves dealing with. While he has a seemingly undying respect for his master, he finds himself questioning the things that he does and the way he is. The way that Qui-Gon is and the things that he has done that Obi-Wan was not made aware of make it to where Obi-Wan cannot help but question the man who mentored him. Since we're discussing Obi-Wan Kenobi, it's only right to talk about Kenobi by John Jackson Miller. Released in 2013, Kenobi shows what happened to Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi during his time of self-exile. More importantly, what happened earlier on the desert planet known as Tatooine. It shows his first few days under the pseudonym Ben. The book begins shortly after Kenobi has left Luke Skywalker in the care of Owen Lars and Beru Whitesun Lars, who he would come to know as his parents growing up. After seeing the morally incorrect things that are being done to the Tusken Raiders by the United Settlers, Kenobi speaks to Ayark, who is the leader of the Tuskens. Tusken agrees with what Kenobi says. Throughout the book, we see Kenobi think up ways to rescue the Tusken Raiders from the injustice they are put through, as well as garner attraction from a human storekeeper by the name of Annalene. Continuing on, let's talk about Star Wars Purge. Published by Dark Horse Comics in 2005, Star Wars Purge takes place after the infamous attack known as Order 6060, when the Jedi are being hunted by the infamous Darth Vader. Due to the anger that the Sith and Lord Vader especially have towards Jedi, they are forced into hiding, but a few of them have the gall to exist in the public eye. Despite the threat of Vader discovering a Jedi, some Jedi no longer want to cower in fear and meet to talk about what action they can take to oppose Sith Lords and the Empire. Vader is at his cruelest in this book, tormenting a Jedi eventually to death simply due to his refusal to give up the location of Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi. Vader appears to the 8 Jedi, thinking Kenobi is with them. Let's move on to Revenge of the Sith by Matthew Stover. Released in 2005, Revenge of the Sith is the first novel on the list to be adapted from a film of the same name. The book is very similar to the film. With that being said, it is still a book that is necessary for fans of the franchise to pick up due to the fact that it features several important additions that were not seen in the film. For instance, the Battle of Coruscant and the battle between Kenobi, Anakin, and Count Dooku are both longer in the book, with the latter being the longest longest battle in the entire book. There is even more added before the battle as well, as there's an added section where Palpatine discusses the plan that was used to lure Count Dooku into the altercation with Anakin. Palpatine also explains to Dooku his plan. And now we're going to talk about Darth Plagueis by James Luceno. Released in 2012, Darth Plagueis serves as an origin story for the Dark Lord of the Sith, also known as the titular Darth Plagueis. The book takes place both before and during the events that went down in the prequel trilogy. Darth Plagueis has a power that many Siths seek to obtain. He possesses ultimate power. The book begins right after Darth Plagueis is killed by Darth Sidious, which turns out to be just a prologue as the book cuts back 35 years. Plagueis and Darth Tenebrous, his Sith master, arrive on the world of Baldemnik in an attempt to check out the planet's cortosis supply, which is being mined in secret. Tenebrous crafts a plan to take advantage of cortosis, specifically their resistance to lightsaber blades, which is a feature that comes naturally to the metal. Before we get to the last book, let's talk about Shadows of the Empire by Steve Perry. Released in 1996, Shadows of the Empire was a book that talked about the events that transpired between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi that was released by Steve Perry. No, not that Steve Perry. The book is also one of the books in the franchise's novelization history to have George Lucas's name on the cover. The book details the rescue team organized by Princess Leia to save Han Solo, who has been carbonite frozen. We read as Leia locates Luke and eventually gets him on board to help rescue Han Solo. She discovers him working on his gift, known as the Force. Leia locates him at the home of a man who is calling himself Ben Kenobi. Luke leaves Tatooine and adds 3 new people to the team: Wedge Antilles and the famous beloved Lando Calrissian, as well as mercenary Dash Rendar. Finally, let's talk about The Rising Force by Dave Wolverton. Released in the year 1999, The Rising Force is the first book in a series of books titled The Jedi Apprentice. This book, which is the only book in the series to have been written by Dave Wolverton, is a book that focuses on a young Obi-Wan Kenobi. Kenobi has 4 weeks to become an apprentice before he turns 13 and is no longer of proper age to become an apprentice. Obi-Wan has one chance to become an apprentice, and that is through Qui-Gon Jinn, the only Jedi that is in need of an apprentice. Despite how badly he had wanted it, Obi-Wan fails to become Qui-Gon's apprentice and is assigned to the Jedi Agricultural Corps. After a mining ship is taken over by pirates, Qui-Gon Jinn catches a glimpse of the potential Obi-Wan holds and begins to reconsider. There are a lot of Star Wars books, and there are even more books than there are movies. In fact, there are over 40 books in the franchise, and the franchise only continues to grow and grow. Which of the many books and comic books are your favorite? Let us know below.